Welcome to MSFS and this simplified guide to go-arounds. We're using the Phoenix A320 for this demo, but the techniques shown here should work in any Airbus across the simulator, including MSFS 2024. So we're on final approach here to Stansted Airport, and we're going to perform a demonstration go-around once we hit minimums. Before we get there, let's just talk about missed approaches. So every time you make a flight plan in the simulator, the FMC will automatically attach a missed approach procedure to the end of that plan. Essentially, if you go around, this is the track you should follow. So on our demo, not only are we going to fly this missed approach, but I'm also going to show you how to vector yourself from the end of that missed approach back to the runway. We're now approaching 400 feet, so we're going to disengage the autopilot, simulate a sort of unstable manual approach, and then we'll enter our go-around procedure. I'm now manually flying the airplane. I'm going to rock it from side to side a little bit just to simulate that slightly upset final approach. And when we reach minimums, I'm going to decide I don't like the look of this approach, it's probably best to go around.
Minimum.
Okay, we're not landing, so I'm going to bring the throttle fully forward, pitch the airplane's nose up, retract the landing gear, and retract the flaps. Once we are climbing and safely clear of the runway, I'm going to bring the throttle back to the climb position and reactivate the autopilot. The airplane will now do three things. It will accelerate to its go-around speed, it will hold its current heading, and it will climb to the altitude currently displayed on the autopilot panel. We can see here the airplane has now reached its go-around speed of 160 knots and the altitude 2,000 feet displayed on the autopilot panel. It's levelling off, it's throttling back, it's completely stable now. So I reapply the flaps to suit our current speed of 160. I'm now going to start following our missed approach procedure. I'll put the lateral mode to selected and then use the heading dial to vector ourselves towards that first waypoint on our missed approach path. You can see here we are now heading towards the first waypoint of that missed approach, and then once we reach it we're going to vector ourselves towards the next one, and so on. If you look at the navigation display, you can see we are pretty close to that first waypoint on our missed approach procedure, so I'm going to adjust the heading dial and continue to vector us towards the next waypoint of that procedure, which is the final one. It's at the Barkway waypoint. Once again, our desired missed approach path is illustrated by the dashed line on the navigation display, and the heading that we've currently selected is illustrated by the blue arrow along the heading rows around the outside. So we'll just continue to make small adjustments to our desired heading until we know we are definitely on track towards our final missed approach waypoint. I'll also zoom out the navigation display a little bit so we can see our destination airport on the navigation display. So what we're going to do once we reach that final missed approach waypoint is manually vector ourselves back towards the intercept waypoint for the runway. We've now reached Barkway, which is the final waypoint on our missed approach procedure. So we're now going to start vectoring ourselves so we are parallel to our arrival runway. I'm dialing in the heading here, and then I will illustrate it on the navigation display. I'll compare our current track to our destination runway. So you can see here that's our current track towards the blue arrow, and our destination runway, and the approach path is shown here. So once again, we're going to fly out on our current heading and then vector ourselves round towards that intercept waypoint for our destination runway. We've now been flying that heading for a little while, and we are essentially directly parallel to the intercept waypoint for our destination runway. We're now going to start vectoring ourselves towards that intercept waypoint. So you can see here the blue arrow around the edge of that heading rows is going to be pointing towards the first intercept waypoint for that runway. We'll just adjust it a little bit more. and we want to come in roughly 90-degree angle, a little bit less, to that waypoint. Just making some more small adjustments as the waypoint comes into view on the navigation display, so we can make sure we are definitely pointing directly at it. Once we are satisfied that we're correctly vectoring ourselves towards that intercept waypoint, I'm going to make a few adjustments to prepare us for approach. For first, on the FMC, I'm going to activate and confirm the approach phase. The airplane will now start to once again decelerate towards its approach speed, and I'm going to increment the flaps to full flaps to suit our approach speed. Ignore the caution and fuel warning, by the way, I'm just running this with very little fuel. I'm now also going to drop the landing gear in preparation for our approach, and I'll also activate approach mode. I'd also recommend activating the landing system display if you haven't already done so. From now on, it's just a normal approach as if you were making your first landing attempt, so the airplane will intercept the localizer and start to turn towards the destination runway. And of course the airplane will then intercept the glide slope and start to descend towards the airport. I'm going to activate auto brake and autopilot 2 for an easy auto land here. As usual, at 400 feet, we see that land annunciator, and the airplane is now all completely correctly configured to auto land after our demonstration go around. Although we've performed a few Airbus specific procedures during this go around, the rough process of a go around is the same in any airplane, from a Cessna all the way up to a 747. Essentially, once you make the decision, it's full thrust, flaps up, gear up, get the airplane nice and stable, vector yourself back towards the intercept waypoint for your destination. Once again, get back in landing configuration, so decelerate, apply flaps and gear, and then land the airplane. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please drop a like. Feel free to subscribe for regular sim content. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section below. If there's a specific issue you're encountering, there's a link to a Discord in the description where you can share screenshots and videos of your issue, and we'll try and help out if we can. And with that said, take care, and I'll see you next time.